If you are somebody who experiences a lot of emotional ups and downs and an intensity of emotion and energy as we're moving through the full and new moon cycles, then you are probably especially feeling this energy right now as we are in the midst of eclipse season, and one of the most powerful eclipse seasons that we perhaps have ever experienced. We're going to talk about why that is in this video and more about the astrological energies that we are experiencing with this eclipse. When we understand these energies, we can better understand how they are influencing us and therefore how it is that we can navigate these sometimes choppy waters. So we're going to dive right in here. This solar eclipse that we are experiencing on April 8th, 2024 is probably one of the most hyped up eclipses that we have experienced as far as I've been doing astrology. So for quite some years now, the energy of this, I can really only liken it in astrological circles to when we had that powerful conjunction of Pluto and Saturn back in 2020, right before the worldwide pandemic and all of the crazy stuff that went down. That was highly anticipated in astrological circles, but perhaps not quite as much in the general mainstream. So in that way, this eclipse actually surpasses that, because there are people who don't even pay attention to astrology who are paying attention to this eclipse. And whether they realize it or not, they are feeling these energies as well because they are so immensely powerful. There have been a ton of videos done on all the powerful biblical omens and synchronicities. I actually did a video on one of the synchronicities and omens that hadn't been covered so far, and I will link that for you at the end of this video if you are interested in that aspect of the eclipse's energy. But there's another aspect to this as well, and this is simply the powerful energies of the planets themselves and what they are doing and how they are communicating and interacting with each other. This eclipse is connected to a series of eclipses on an astrological foundation that began April 20th of last year when we had another solar eclipse in the sign of Aries. This is when we began experiencing the eclipse along the Aries-Libra nodal axis. Or axis rather. And this energy and these eclipses will continue forward. We have, I believe, one more eclipse within this nodal cycle that we're going to be experiencing at the end of this year. And I will leave the exact dates for that and the completion of this cycle with the Aries-Libra nodes and the Aries-Libra full moons and eclipses in the description box below for you, so that you have that information if you want to continue on with that and understand the time frame for this eclipse from that viewpoint and lens. The video that I link at the end of this video will talk about the sister set of eclipses in 2027 and 2034 that are linked to this on an esoteric level. But from the astrological viewpoint of the nodes and this specific transit, because the nodes affect the eclipses and sort of delineate the energies that the eclipses will be in, that's going to be in the description box below. But that eclipse on April 20th, 2023 was at 29 degrees of Aries, which is the anaretic degree, the final degree of Aries, which is a really, really powerful and profound degree to be experiencing an eclipse on. Now we have this eclipse at 19 degrees of Aries, so taking us back a little bit. And what's interesting about this is that this eclipse, which is exactly conjunct Chiron, which we will talk about in excess or extensively in a moment, is also connected to Mercury Retrograde, which is loosely conjunct this eclipse at 24 degrees of Aries. And we'll be continuing to move backwards and make an exact conjunction to the sun on the 11th of April. So we have this energy once again of being taken back. As Mercury retrograde is a time for reviewing, it is a time for retracing our steps, for looking things over. So there's a deep and profound journey going on here. And we could see that actually in the April 20th eclipse, Mercury was also in retrograde. That time in the sign of Taurus, it was actually stationed retrograde on the day of the eclipse. Mercury this time stationed retrograde on April 1st, so 7 days before the eclipse began. So we had a Mercury retrograde going on then as well. And that Mercury retrograde, like I said, was in the sign of Taurus. So it was leading us down this journey of really reviewing and rehashing and getting a deeper understanding and a different perspective on our values, on what was important to us, on perhaps our financial situation, the material things in our lives, all of those second house energies and concepts. And now, with this Mercury retrograde in Aries conjunct this eclipse, we are in this process of looking at what are the actions that I've taken around the things that I decided last year had meaning and value to me. How have I moved along in that process? And what has been preventing me from doing so if I have not made as much progress as I would have liked? And this is where Chiron comes in, who is exactly conjunct the sun and the moon at 19 degrees of Aries during this eclipse. Chiron represents our deepest wounds that lead to our most powerful healing and are really the key that shows us what it is that we are here to share with the world, what healing it is that we are here to offer the world, right? We heal first within ourselves, and then that healing ripples out, and some of us feel called to offer that healing in some concrete way as well. But energetically speaking, simply by going through that healing process, that healing ripples out and affects the world. All right, so this is a dual thing on many levels. Where the North Node is so close to the eclipse, the nodes are always within range, right? Because like we said, the nodes delineate the eclipses. However, the North Node is very, very close right now. And that energy is profound when we're looking at this energy of Chiron, because Chiron, like we said, represents that healing that we're here to offer the world, and the North Node represents our Dharma. So it's the healing breakthrough that is allowing us to continue to walk down the path of our Dharma, and is really the gateway or the key. Notice how Chiron is actually shaped like a key, right? The key that unlocks our hidden potential and unlocks our greatest service to the world and our ability to step into greater service to the world. And a lot of this, because we're working in Aries, has to do with that energy of courage. It has to do with that energy of confidence. And I know in my own personal life, I've been working through this for quite some time leading up to this eclipse. The energies coming back up as I began to level up in terms of what I am offering the world and how it is that I'm offering that, how it is that I'm seeing myself, how it is that I'm showing up in my own life and showing up for all of you. I had the imposter syndrome kick back up. I had that next level of the peeling of the onion, so to speak, of my own fears, my own insecurities, my own woundedness, my own worthiness. And that's been a process that's been unraveling for me. And now for those of us who've been very much, and really this is all of us, right? Who've been very much in this process, this is the breakthrough. So it's either the aha moment that we're getting ready to experience here, or it's the blessings and the synchronicities that are now ready to come through because we've had that aha moment. We've moved through that, and now we're on the other side. And something really exciting that's going on during this eclipse as well is the fact that Jupiter and Uranus are within 2 degrees of each other in the sign of Taurus. They're going to be perfecting their conjunction on the 20th of April. Isn't that funny, where we talked about that first eclipse, right? Being back in 2023, being on 420. Now on 420 of this year, we have the Jupiter and Uranus conjunction. And this is a big, big energy. This is connected to bringing through those blessings. Bringing through very unexpected blessings. A bit chaotic blessings was actually what I wrote down for this. All right. So this is like out of the chaos, something beautiful is birthed. Something beautiful is created. All right. That chaos is like the space of possibility. And a lot of us may feel like we've been thrown into chaos, and this happens a lot during eclipse season. Very quickly, especially this year, as we are in a leap year, quantum leaping through timelines. Changes are happening very, very fast. All right, our vibration is aligning us with a certain timeline. And then as our vibration changes, it aligns us with a different timeline. So I'm literally seeing us like bouncing back and forth between different timelines and realities right now, kind of like a pinball machine. All right, so it's almost this energy where we might be feeling a little bit dizzy. But what 2024 is all about is ultimately, as we come out of it and into 2025, we will have really stabilized our energy and stabilized that timeline moving forward. All right, so right now everything's very fluid. There's a lot of ability to bounce back and forth. And we want to put in a little bit of concerted effort to remain stabilized in our vibration, at least when it comes to our wants, our desires, what it is that we have determined has value that is worth putting our consistent action towards. All right, we want to stay as stable with that as we can and take care of ourselves and our vibration as much as we can, so that we are stabilizing into that timeline perhaps a little bit more smoothly, with a little bit more grace, and so that we feel less like that pinball. All right, but we don't want to try to control this too much, because that's one of the things about eclipse season is like we have to surrender. All right, we have to surrender to the process, because it's going to happen whether we want it to or not. It's just like the process, like when so the example I'm being shown right now is like when we incarnate onto this planet, we agree that we're going to enter this human body, this human vessel. This is going to be our container, our temple, our sort of experiential, physical, whatever you want to call it, right? This is going to be the container that we utilize to have this experience. And that this container is going to age. It's going to start out as a baby, and then our container is going to grow and going to evolve physically, right? Moving through a spectrum of experience. That's going to happen regardless of what we do about it, and we see in society, at least definitely in American society where I live, we definitely see this energy where like we're programmed to resist that process as much as possible. And that's what really makes aging so challenging, is the resistance to the process of it. As we move through ascension, we realize that the aging actually can be slowed, and it isn't meant to go as fast as it does. And there's a lot of ways that we can, by relaxing and surrendering into it and not spending so much time stressing about it, and also simply raising our vibration and our consciousness and evolving our DNA, like that whole process is going to shift and change as we move through ascension. But like right now, it is what it is. And it's a lot smoother and a lot more beautiful of a ride if we're not fighting it tooth and nail the whole time. All right. So it's like these things. And so like the whole point of that analogy or that example was that eclipse season is kind of like that. This is very much working with those nodes of fate, right? Like we said, destined and fated events. Eclipse season is kind of where we get realigned with our destiny, so to speak. And so whatever is going to happen is going to happen. There's not much that we can do about it except stay in resonance with our soul, stay in this period of surrender and this period of paying attention to the signs, to the synchronicities, to the journey and where it's leading us, and trying to learn as much as we can from that journey and go with the flow, go along for the ride. Assisting us with this inspired action and really connecting with our intuition, our higher self, and bringing the downloads, bringing the wisdom and the understanding into manifested form is the fact that we also have a conjunction here between Mars and Saturn in Pisces. They're within a couple degrees of each other during this eclipse. And they're going to be perfecting, I got to look at my notes here for this one, on April 10th, their conjunction will be perfected. So there's this beautiful energy here well, Saturn and Mars aren't necessarily the smoothest in Pisces, I guess you could say. They're like Mars especially struggles in the sign of Pisces, but there is this ability to tap into that higher wisdom and to take action when that action feels inspired, when that action aligns with the higher self. And Saturn in Pisces especially is helping us to channel all that higher spiritual energy into this physical form, into this physical reality. It's teaching us how to make our spirituality practical and the steps we can take that can reinforce the information, the feedback that we are receiving from our soul. And that's something that Spirit wants us to focus on during this eclipse season as well. What is the feedback that you are receiving from your soul? Remember, this reality is a mirror. So what is being mirrored back to us? The more we can pay attention to what's being mirrored back to us in our life experience, what the feedback is that we are receiving, and shift accordingly in support of ourselves, in support of our physical well-being, our spiritual well-being, our emotional and health and well-being, the more powerfully we're able to ground in these energies, and the more smooth the ride down the river is going to be, so to speak. So a lot of really beautiful, powerful energies here. We have Venus as well in a powerful sextile right now to Pluto. And Venus is also within a few degrees of Neptune. This conjunction is a little bit further apart, and it is an out of sign conjunction, meaning that we have Neptune at 28 degrees of Pisces, and we have Venus at 4 degrees of Aries. So she has moved beyond that conjunction, and she has now moved into Aries, but there's still a Neptunian influence assisting her energy. And when we add to this the sextile from Pluto in Aquarius, there's a powerful energy here that's allowing us to step into and embody this process of radical self-acceptance, radical self-love, allowing Pluto to bring through this empowering energy that is assisting us in alchemizing, while Neptune assists in dissolving any of the wounds, any of the fears that are coming up. And this is piggybacking off of the energy of Chiron in Aries, right? When it comes to our self-confidence, when it comes to our courage, when it comes to our self-worth, when it comes to the way that we see ourselves and our value in the world, the way that we see our ability to step up and embody our truth, there's this powerful energy coming through regarding living our truth, speaking our truth, with Mercury here in Aries as well during this retrograde. The ways that we communicate our truth, not just through our words, but through our actions, through our choices, through our inner dialogue, our internal monologue, right? Because the brain is always chattering away. That's the way the ego stays alive, right? Is through the constant talking, which is why meditation is so key, to give our mind that little break, that little breather, right? And we're definitely going to need that with Mercury in a fire sign, by the way. All right, because the mind is fired up. Everything is fired up and ready to go right now. There's a lot of powerful, fiery energy. But it's about the ways that we are embodying our truth. And not our ego's truth, not our mind's truth, but our heart's truth, our soul's truth. This eclipse is aligning us powerfully with our own soul, with the truth within our heart, and the higher truths from our higher selves. We talked about in another video, which I will also link for you, the connection that this eclipse has to the Lionsgate portal. So this eclipse is occurring 4 days after the 4/4 portal and 4 months before the 8/8/8 portal. And it is a precursor or a preliminary energy that is beginning this alchemical process and these alchemical activations, as well as beginning to bring through the awareness, the messages, and the downloads from our higher self that are going to assist us in this opportunity that we're going to have on the Lionsgate to merge more deeply with our higher self. So right now it's like our higher self is bringing through the awareness. It's bringing through the wisdom as well as the light codes. And it's showing us this. It's kind of like the blueprint, like this is what you need to do in order to bring yourself into the alignment necessary to be able to experience this merger with your higher self during the Lionsgate portal. So take special stock and note of what is coming up for you during this eclipse, because those energies are going to be translated. I don't know what I meant by that. I guess they are going to be translated, like the actions that we take are going to determine what we're able to receive when we enter the Lionsgate portal. And really the energy from now through the Lionsgate is just, it's going to be off the chain. Like April is a massive month, but it's going to remain, the energy is going to remain very powerful, very open, and very fluid as we move all the way through the Lionsgate, and really this entire year. It's like, you guys, it just doesn't stop. I'm laughing because that's one of the things that, or what is it? Something similar to that my son says all the time. That's super funny. It keeps going. That's what he says. So I don't know, kind of an inside family joke there. It keeps coming. That's what it is. There we go. It keeps coming. He sings it while he's stomping around the kitchen. He has this whole thing that he does. It's super cute. But it's true. That is what it is. The energy keeps coming. And it really doesn't slow down. We get little breathers here or there. After we move out of this eclipse, we'll have a breather of sorts. But at the same time, it's like this Mercury retrograde is going to keep Mercury in the sign of Aries until May 15th. So through that whole period, there's going to be an integration of these energies. Mercury really supporting our integration and the breakthroughs and the downloads continuing to stream in as our minds are in this more open state of consciousness, this more permeable state, so to speak. So it's going to be really powerful through May. And then honestly, I'll have to take a look at the astrology. I got to live in the now as much as possible. So I haven't sort of looked too far ahead right now, other than the energies of the Lionsgate. But I know there's a lot more powerful stuff coming up, you guys, and I'm not sure if we'll get a breather in June either. Stay tuned for that if you want to know more. Go ahead and subscribe right now if you haven't, and also click that like button if you haven't yet. To summarize, big energies, so much shifting and changing. Really, it's all this beautifully orchestrated dance that, as I said, actually continues all the way through 2034 as far as these powerful openings and portals toward ascension. These eclipses, each one building on the next, these powerful points of bifurcation as the third and the fifth dimension are splitting further apart. The realities are splitting further apart, and we are birthing that new age. It's like every time we go through an eclipse cycle, these are the contractions as that new earth is being birthed. And this is a really big one, you guys. This contraction that we're experiencing right now on April 8th, and then again on that 888 portal. So yeah, I love you, I honor you, I respect you. I'm going to do a reading as well for the eclipse. So stay tuned for those. There'll probably be a couple readings coming out. There's going to be a live stream as well. If not today, then within the next couple days, because there's just so much to cover. All the omens and everything are really, really fascinating as well. Like I said, check out the video that I'm linking for you here, talking about the omen and the connection that people have so far missed, which is absolutely massive when we're talking about all of the spiritual, religious, and biblical connotations and the connection that I've been referencing to the 2027 and 2034 set of eclipses. And also, if you haven't yet, if you want to get a little bit deeper into the Lionsgate energies and how this is connected, check out the other video that I've linked about the Lionsgate portal. I love you, and I will talk to you all very soon.